Okay, we're gonna get this going here and see what we can do and get it started. This is the easy part, right? I try, but there's a lot of stuff that they like to sell people in their masquerade of things. But some of it is more to that than the masquerade of things in this world. So some people, you can I sense their the masquerade, and I just kind of I'm like, okay, that's cool, but otherwise, most of the time I do not. Like I see it, I just don't. You know, you can see the masquerade and the weird of what people are doing sometimes, and they kind of take you for a. You can say that word chimp. As a even the all I do is tie, and they kind of take you for that thing, but you've been through some crazy stuff, and you're not allowed to mention nothing. So if you mention something, sometimes that's a problem that you mentioned it. Or that means you caused it. You did this. It's not always the case. It's not always the case. Sometimes there's people out there that just they're determined to see, you know, as I call it, like uh, the dramas unfold and stuff. So we're going to tie right now is just a damsel nymph. That's what we're doing. Nothing too crazy. A simple damselfly type of nymph that you can use in the lake or wherever you've seen damselfly nymphs and basically dragonfly nymphs at, or where you would think they would be laying their eggs at. You fish this, and hopefully you'll get you a trout or a bass or something. Um, and you can make this in brown. You can make it in olive, kind of like a green. You probably can make it in other colors too, as long as it looks like somewhat like that or moves kind of like them, and it will probably catch something because it's fish are also sometimes, like I was saying, sometimes they just want that something that looks good to eat. Don't they gotta doesn't always have to be a perfect imitation of what it is, but sometimes it seems to work a little better when it kind of at least moves or sort of looks like thing that something that they're picking up and eating. And sometimes certain flies or lures are just more to their liking. I guess that would be the word because they're feeding on that. Hopefully this will come out okay and it won't be too crazy with the camera view. So I've already got this clipped in here in the clip, but so I had to take those marabous and get them. I've decided to do brown and green together to see if I can get a cool effect from it. It's hard to see, but I decided to also put two crystal flashes and them flashaboos in there. Flashaboo, crystal flash, flashaboo, crystals, and then put them on both sides. Pinch it together so you can see the three, and then pinch it. So that's going to be the tail. Um, Trying to get it to totally cooperate with me. But see, so then the tail will be kind of like a brown green together, if that makes any sense. Like so. And we're just going to lay that there. Just a simple pattern. This one's pretty easy, but this part's kind of irritating, I would say. because you're kind of fighting the, like I was telling uh, fellow YouTuber for that. I was like, sometimes you're just boxing with the feathers and trying to find how you want to, where's the bend of that hook. Like this would be a fly like that. I'm sure if I used the clip to hold it, it'd be better. But that's just kind of how this goes. But let's take my time with it and kind of get this tight in there. We got our, make sure the copper wires like they're gonna be down there. I think it'll be all right. I don't know. As we say, we're by now. Sometimes I'm by no means a pro, but at the same time, it's like I've done this stuff for a while, and so whenever I do something I haven't done before, or haven't done in a long time, I kind of take it into consideration, certain things about it. So there, we want that there. We're gonna see if we can get these to sprawl out like we want them to. And what we're gonna do, let's see if this on top. Let's see. There's only, there we go. And this on the side. I'm trying to get that. You can see those little. I didn't. If I would, I should have probably used it in the clip first, but it's okay. It's in generally the place where I want it. If you kind of get what I'm trying to do here. So if you have a clip or something like this, it's gonna make it easier. Should make it a little bit easier. Actually, it would be better if I just hold it like this with my hand and then grip it back. You'll see what I'm doing here. Once I gotta really work this thread back on where this tail is at. And hopefully it'll kind of hold it in place. Then we're gonna wrap this forward to about, just about right there. Okay. Now we got this bunch, as you can see. And there's the tail, and you can see a little flash of blue in the wire. And 2 pieces of crystal flash up on the side, on that side. Hopefully I didn't catch any of those. No, I didn't. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to wrap this whole conglomeration mess. And it's difficult because this is a size 12 streamer. So we're gonna, and I don't really have the correct marble for this, but we're gonna try to do it anyway. Let's see how it comes out. You can see it's trying to, like, the thing that you're trying to get it to do. Probably should, like, kind of twist it and just see if it'll come out like I want. I probably should have used less pieces of marabou for this, but I wanted the brown in there so bad. You're gonna wrap it just like that. As you can see the body kind of showing up. It's gonna kind of have like a weird brown in it. Like I was trying to get the brown to kind of mix into it. Pull this like that. gonna see if it comes out like I want it to. Yeah, I probably should use less. Maybe if I go, like I said, well, let's do this right here. See where it's tying me down. Let's see what it does. Let's see what it does when I tie it down. 2 or 3 wraps, and then we'll decide how we're gonna do it from there. I'm trying not to break it. It's just so crazy. People are so crazy. Humans are so crazy. They don't know the mess that be going on, and then they take it and run. They'll go take it and run. So if I don't know if you kind of figured out what I'm trying to do, is I'm working this stuff, and I'm doing another shell back basically, but I'm doing the shell back with the marabou. And so it's gonna be a little challenge to get it, because the goal is to get it like right on top like this, and just keep tying back on it till you get your shell back like you want it, which is the challenge of this one. Because, and plus I use so much just marabou on there, and it's a pretty small hook for how much feather I use. It'd been easier if I used less of this marabou, to be honest, but there we go. And we're gonna try to get these hairs to fit back. So then you want it to stand up like that. All right. So then you can take your wire, honestly, technically, I think it's safe to cut it like right there. Yeah, it'll be good. Yeah. And then you can put your clip on it if you want. And it's kind of, so there's your body of the thing. These things are kind of getting in my way. So this is like a little bit of, you could do this easier if I used less, but I wanted to have the brown mixed in there, and I didn't want to just do all brown one. I didn't want it to be all green, or like an olive. So, but when you wrap it, you want it to kind of, those kind of stand up like that. Hold on a second here. Right back. Tying this right here up for you guys. Critters are going crazy. Alright. So we're tying this up. Tying it up. Puppy's talking. Bumpity bump. Okay. Alright. So we wrapped it. Oh, we wrapped it underways this way. We went this way. We're gonna go the other way. And just another fly. Actually, this is in my way now. Hopefully it'll stay out of my way when I'm doing this. I want this to go there. Hold on. There. Okay. So then we're gonna put this through. We're gonna put the wire on it. You can go with it or do the other way. It doesn't really. It matters, but it doesn't. I guess if I go with it, let's see. We'll go with the grain of it. So then so that stuff will stand up still. How about that? So it'll still stand up and look nice. And we can work it down within the marabou, so it'll still stand up and look kind of fuzzy. That's what we're gonna do. Then we're gonna wrap it right in there, where we get the shell back there. We're gonna wrap it in front of it right here. Copper wire. Just the standard stuff. 20 times fun. I'm just gonna tie quite a bit of this wire down in it. Build the body up with it right there. Just a little bit. Just that, because that's kind of gonna be. That's gonna be where the thorax is gonna be, basically. Kind of messy the way I'm making it, but it's a mess, yeah. But we're gonna see how it comes out. It might come out good, might come out bad. I'm gonna wrap a little bit of this over it. I was reaching, folks. I like to chill and talk to people sometimes, but it gets frustrating when you see there's like a lot of fake news and people take anything these outside forces will say that, oh, he said that, it's kind of depressing when you see that. And then the person's like, yeah, he better run off, and they're following the orders of someone else, and it just shows who they are. And they see, and it's kind of, for you, it's kind of a test to see if they will respond that way. And when they respond that way, you're kind of disappointed in them because you see them differently, especially if you've met them once before in person. So sometimes it's kind of disappointing too. But that's probably disappointing on their end too. If you know that certain things are going on, then why would you say this or this? And you're like, that's the whole point, to see if that person's going to relay that across ocean, sea, and lake and river to try to get a reaction. And then when that person does react and gets mad, you're like, oh, so you really are on that. And then you're like, I retract what I said. But that person takes that information and still says it to that person to cause a problem. Now that is something else to me. I was like, dang, that's something else right there. That's kind of what I've seen. I wonder if I should just do a little weird move. I'm just trying to remember how. I'm actually trying to remember in my mind how you're supposed to tie this down. I'm like, how did you do that? How do you do that again? I haven't tied one in a while. So I'm like, oh yeah, there's a way to do this. It's like, because there's your shell back. I think I have to, if I remember right. Like part of it, if I can get the feather. This is the part about this fly that's kind of difficult. Gosh, if I can remember quite right how to do it. Well, suppose I could just do it like this. And that'll do the job just as good. Just get it all around it. So, because I'm sure there's more than one way to do this fly. But this is supposed to be simple. So it's basically like you're making a shellback of the nymph with the marabou. And I should do it, I think I'm just going to do it like that. And just pull these around it, if that makes sense. Like around the bottom and the top to hide the copper. And then I'm just going to, no, not quite right there. So that's the thing, I'm trying to get this back into the marabou without it looking too crazy. So like right there. Let me see how it looks on the top here. Like, I think it's okay to, yeah, I really should just twist it around the hook. To be honest, I feel that it'll be better. Okay, let's see in the front. Okay, so that's your shell back there, that little bump. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna put these back. See if I can do it. We're gonna split them. Maybe a little brown on the side. Yeah, just like that. Okay, and so here's the fun part: is trimming it. And I kind of twisted them so it'll cover some of the copper underneath. But you're gonna cut this. You're gonna cut the center out of these. That makes sense. Because you got to get down to where the eye of the hook is. That's why I said this is kind of easy fly, but it's messy, and there's a better way to do this, but okay. So it looks crazy right now, and then see if it'll let me do it. It's just a lot of manipulating this fly, and we're gonna see if we can get it to look like I want it. Okay, so now we got it kind of like how we want it. Now we're gonna tie it down, and I'm trying to had it almost perfect there. Okay, almost. It's definitely, this is a little bit of a challenge. Is getting that to get out of your way. I did a lot with a lot of marabou, so it's really difficult to kind of trying to get it to lay down like I want to do. It's kind of fighting me, but we're gonna see if we can can do it. One side's doing good, other side's doing so bad. So we're going to see if we can. We're gonna cut that out of there. We can, little piece. Oops. Because it's kind of, that part's kind of causing a little problem right there. Because I have to tie that. I'm gonna have to tie that down. And I just kind of like, it's just a messy looking. Yeah, this is kind of a messy conglomeration when you're doing this one. Or it's supposed to be very simple, and it kind of is. There's nothing really to it. So then I'll see where that little bit is. And I'm going to cut that away. You know, some of these slides, that's all it is. It's mostly the trimming, like not cutting your thread. This would be one of those ones like you got to do some trimming. There's a way to do it where it's a little easier. But there you go. So those are the two sides of the damselfly basically. And then damselflies are a little thinner, I think, than this. But it's, you know, it's still going to have like a swimming type thing to it. So that's what makes it cool. So like right there. And so you're just trying to get these. Now it's just trying to get these pieces out to the sides, kind of how you want them. And boom. So there you go. I might trim it some more once I get it really sitting how I want it to sit. But so far it looks pretty good. And then the trick here is shaping the head, because I was trying to get the head of this a little bit smaller than this, but I think we can muster it if I'm really patient and tie right there. This is kind of like that more. This is that what do you call it? The Danville's. It's good stuff. Me and Crazy Life was talking about it. You know, he ties the jigs. He ties to a lot of crappie jigs, like Crappie Man. And yeah, I use that stuff for my flies because when you put the cement on there, the thinner, it really takes on the thinner really good. There's the more silken threads. But I use this sometimes. I tie jigs with this though too. Like I tie like the big jigs with it. The big crazy ass. Sorry, my language, but the big crazy salmon stuff sometimes with this kind of thread and stuff. Not a perfect head on this one, but nonetheless, it is basically a damselfly. It's just basically like you're just making like a little mini damselfly, basically. And I'm just gonna leave it like it is, even though the head's kind of big on it. But I mean, damselflies are a little bit thinner than this thing, but the shape of it is still fish. I'm sure when I do this again, I will do it a little different. But I haven't tied one in a while. Another one I haven't tied in a long time. And it probably wouldn't easier if I only used one piece of feather to do it. But I wanted the brown in there for whatever reason. I felt like I want that brown in there. And I wanted to leave I wanted to put a crystal flash in it too. Like I wanted to just do whatever with it. And so what I'm doing now is like kind of cutting in between these to kind of give it there. That's one side. See how the other side looks. The other side's a little more sparse, so I don't need to do it as much, I don't think. Trying to get closest to the same size as the other side. It's weird. People just be acting weird. I don't know. Some of the stuff I see in the YouTube streets be weird. How people treat you and stuff. And some people, he's never gonna do. It's just weird. And you just decide, fine, I'm not gonna be as annoyed by these other actions that go on. And there you go. Sometimes it's works out, sometimes it don't. So you can't really make it out right now what I did here. Woo. Yeah, it really needs that bad. Whoa, dripped in on myself. Yeah, it really needed a little drop of that thinner, really bad. But I mean, damsel eyes and dragonfly nymphs, basically, I think they hunt damsel like mayfly nymphs and all that stuff. They actually hunt them just like when they turn into the dragonfly and they catch the bugs. They do the same thing when they're in the water. They'll I think, or no, maybe that's the dragon. What's it called? Something beetle or whatever. They hunt the larvae of those hunt like the mayfly nymphs and all the other nymphs. It's crazy in the water, and then when they fly out of the water, then the dragonflies hunt the things. It's crazy. It's crazy how that works. Like as they're nymphs, they're hunting stuff, and then one doesn't really can hunt sort of other ones, and then another one hunts that one and hunts all of them. Then when they turn into flies, it changes, the whole dynamic changes again. When they actually turn into their flying form, it's kind of crazy. Metamorphosis, as you would say, as we would say, metamorphosis. When they metamorphosis, you can hear people up there chattering, family folk going on, talking about whatever. Yeah. So there it is, and it's supposed to look kind of funny like that anyway. It's supposed to look kind of messily made in the first place. It's not supposed to look perfect. It's supposed to kind of look like that. Like it's soft and feathery, like a damselfly nymph would be. They're kind of frilly looking. But I made this one kind of too chunky. At least in my eyes. But it is holding the shape of one, so. And I'm just trying to, and I just kind of hid the copper underneath. You can barely see it. I should have done like a wrap. That would have been nice to do like a wrap of, should have done like a wrap. But I didn't. But if you look at it from the top view, it kind of has like a shellbacky thing to it, like a bump, like another type of nymph, and it's just like that would be like its shellback right here, right in there, and then It's supposed to look kind of frilly looking, and then that swims, and then it has like a little marabou tail to it. But this one's kind of fat. It should have been smaller, a little bit thinner looking. But that's basically how you make it. It's like my first attempt at making one in a while. I might make another one here. Let's see, we'll take it out of the thing, take a look at it, give it a real inspection. Let me look at it real quick. You know, I probably still see. That's the thing. Sometimes I think it's ugly, you know, and it still might be. It's still fishy. It's still fishable, you know. It's like you're like, wait a minute. You start looking at it closer, you know, trim it a little bit, and you're like, no, don't look half bad. And you're like, no, let me look at it. You're like, no, would that move in the water like something? And you're like, well, that probably still will work as a decent imitation of that. So, you know, that's just how that is with this. And there you go, look at it. So, see if it'll focus for us a little bit. So there it is. It's got like a little shell back to it. So basically, that's a little damselfly, basically. Nymph. You could just take to the lake and cast it out. I'm sure it'll catch panfish and other stuff. Just because it's made of marabou already, if you look at it, it's got a little look to it, you know, and it's got a little crystal flash, just a little dash in there. I just add that. Usually this is all olive color or all brown. They make these, and they're a little smaller. But if you look at it, if it'll focus again, sometimes it just yeah. Now you can kind of see. You see the two little, you know, those would be like the legs out to its side, and then that would be the shell back there, little tail, and then there's the body, little thorax to it. You can kind of see and I kind of, you know, hid the copper that's underneath there a little bit, and so it's got a little weight to get it down. It's just a little, and that's a size 12 streamer, so it's, you know, that's my finger. That's like 1 inch from there to there, my finger. So if that gives you any clue how the size it is, it's not even, you know, the tail. That's just tail. And that's the hook and underneath there, so it's very small, not the super big streamer. But that's it. That is it right there. You don't even have, and that's not even technically the correct way to do it, but it came out looking really good. Pretty decent. Should be a little thinner looking. The body of this maybe, but it's good. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.